Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It's very good to be able to be together this morning. So I want to welcome everyone who is joining us online at Facebook and YouTube, as well as on tilb.org, where not only do we have a higher quality stream, but when we get to our Mourner's Kaddish, our memorial prayer, you'll be able to share the names of those that you are thinking of in the chat. If you're joining us online, I want you to know that you are an important part of this celebration, and I also want to invite you to welcome one another. And so go ahead and hop into the chat and say a Shabbat Shalom to each other, a good morning, and a Mazel Tov as we begin this day together. Welcome as well to everyone who is here in our sanctuary, everyone who is joining on this day to celebrate this morning, and to welcome in this day of Shabbat. I want to also say a special welcome and thank you to David for being such an important part of this leadership team. David, it's always so good to lead together and so good to be together. Thank you for your music, your presence, your leadership. It's good to be with you. Thank you. I want to help us bring this moment into this morning. And so there's a number of things that I'm going to mention in just a moment about some of the traditional elements of a service, but there are a few new things as well. And so I want to offer some housekeeping this morning as we get started. If any of us have brought a cell phone to our service, and I know, some of us are saying, the rabbi has a cell phone. Yes, I imagine many of us have our cell phones with us. I want to invite us to have our service this morning without that particular distraction. And so if you have your cell phone out, go ahead and take it out. And I want to invite us to set it on silent, or I'm actually going to completely turn my phone off, and the hope being that I can enjoy this morning without that particular distraction. There's not going to be any need to take photos or video of this service this morning. We have our professional photographer, Scott, who will be capturing our service this morning, and so we can be fully in this day. I want you to know also that we have a robust security system as a part of our community, and deliberately many of the different measures that we have in place are things that we wouldn't see, but I have been asked by our security committee to mention a couple of things about our sanctuary. The first is that there are exits in the back as well as in the front of our sanctuary. If you were to exit on this side of the sanctuary, it would lead directly to doors that would lead directly outside of our synagogue. This is also very important. As we look to the different exits in our sanctuary, if you look in the back as well, you will lead directly from there to the restrooms of our synagogue. So important as well. We all pray in our own way, and I mean this. Everyone is welcome in this space. And if you feel like you want a little more wiggle room, and I'm looking at our munchkins and some of our adults, or if you want to just sing the way that I sing in the car and you really want that extra space, we have a life cycle room just to the side of our sanctuary where you can participate in our service and sing to your heart's delight. Yeah.
I love the example.
Yeah. That is prayer too, by the way. Yes. This is prayer too. This too is prayer. And I want to invite us into this space of prayer, into a ritual and a holy, sacred moment. And so, as a part of that, I want to remind us that what we are going to experience this morning, it's different than a performance. And so we want to invite us to do something a little bit different than what we might do in a performance. As we're moved by the things that we share this morning, as an alternative to applauding, I want to invite us to maybe offer words of congratulations. There are words mazel tov, which are words of congratulations. There are other words that we might hear this morning, the words yasher koach. I actually want to invite us to practice those words. So you can repeat after me, yasher koach. And that just means continue with that incredible thing that you've offered. We've been really moved by what you have shared with us. I want to also note that we have a pamphlet, a beautiful pamphlet that outlines some of the things about our service this morning, and in the seat back in front of you, you'll find our prayer book for today. Our prayer book is designed with each of our needs in mind, knowing that we might have different needs, each and every one of us in this space, or even different needs at different times of the service. And so you'll find on the right-hand side of the page the traditional words of blessing that we'll be offering together, the traditional prayers, as well as transliteration. Underneath are translations, the meaning of those same blessings. But if we find our hearts wandering this morning, I invite us to let our eyes wander around the page as well. You'll find alternative readings on the left-hand side, or still further commentary below. For each and every one of us, I invite us to let this service be what it is that we need for it to be. And so, for some of us, that will be following along on the words of the Hebrew. Others, that will be humming along to melodies that we share. And for others, it might be simply letting this prayer service wash over us. For all of us, I invite us to get what we need out of this morning. We begin by giving thanks for being together, for being a part of a community. And so we sing the words of Ma Tovu. You'll find these words on page 74 of our prayer books, page 74 of our prayer books.
Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, ma tovu, ma tovu, ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, ma tovu, mishkenotecha Yisrael, mishkenotecha Yisrael, ma tovu, ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, ma tovu, ma tovu, ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, ma tovu, va'ani berov hastecha, avo beitecha, eshtecha ve'el heichal kodshecha, ve'yiratecha. Ma tovu, ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, ma tovu, ma tovu, ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, ma tovu.
As we begin our service this morning, and as they begin to lead us in our service, I'd like to call up Aliana and Harlan, as well as Jamie Bolnick, Aliana's bubby, Aliana's grandmother, and Michael Bleidistel, Harlan's brother, to share some words and to present them with their tallit.
Okay. It is wonderful to be here with you to celebrate this moment. In my day, women could not fully participate in B'nai Mitzvah. Women were not able to read from the Torah. So it is with joy today that I witness this progress women have made in Judaism. No longer is this a men's club, but a place where both men and women can thrive. Aliana, this is your future, and you must have an opportunity to shape it. It is my honor to present you with this tallis today as we celebrate your journey to womanhood. This tallis represents the women before you who have paved the way. so that young girls like yourself will have the same opportunities to flourish in our community. Like Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg said, women belong in all places where decisions are being made. Mazel tov, Aliana.
Thank you.
Am I supposed to put it on you?
I think so.
Oh, shit. That's not. Okay, we got it. We got it.
Hold on.
There you go.
Okay. It's on? Okay, there we go.
How you doing, bud? Good. I'm good. You're gonna do great. Harlan, I'm so proud of you and everything you've accomplished to get here today. It takes a lot of hard work and dedication, but you did it. Watching you grow into the young man you are today is the best. You're an awesome little brother. You're so funny and loving and an amazing uncle to my girls. And you're truly one of my best friends. I want to say thank you and what an honor it is that you asked me to be the one to carry out the tradition of blessing you with your talit and making me a part of your special day. Congratulations, Harlan. I love you bunches, buddy, and I can't wait to see what your future holds. Mazel tov.
I know. You do it. When you Thank you.
Then go ahead, you guys, and do the blessing, and I know they'll continue by leading.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehitatef b'tzitzit.
I hereby accept the obligation of fulfilling these mitzvot as commanded in our Torah. You shall be holy, for I, your God, am holy. You shall not render an unjust decision. Leave something of what you possess to the poor. Do not hate your fellow human being. Judge your neighbor fairly. Do not stand idly by the blood of your neighbor. Do not gossip or spread rumors. Do justly, love mercifully, and walk humbly with your God. Love your neighbor as yourself. I am Adonai, your God.
We continue with the Baruch Hu, our call to prayer on page 108. Please rise in body or in spirit. La 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 la. La 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. As Adonai Hamevorah Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Hamevorach Leolam Vaed Hamevorach Hamevorach Leolam Vaed.
We continue with the Yotzer Or, where we remind ourselves that the world is always in the act of creation. We give thanks that light is restored to the earth daily. Please turn to page 110. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam oseh shalom ve'et hakol hameir la'aretz v'ladarim alecha barachamim uvtuvo mechadesh bechol yom tamid ma'aseh bereshit ma rabu ma'asecha Adonai kulam b'chochma asita mal'a ha'aretz kinyanecha titbarach Adonai Eloheinu al shevach ma'aseh yadecha Va'al ma'orei or she'asita yafa arucha sela. Or Chadash al Tzion Ta'ir, Unizkeh Chulanu Mehera Le'ora. Baruch Atah Adonai Yotzer Hamarot. You are praised, who rolls out the rough raw clay of the universe into delicate vessels of light, and from nothing at all. We could perceive in a world that has turned old a shimmering new creation right before our eyes, made this moment just for us. How much of life reveals your presence, how much Torah unfolds from each new flower, from each new wave that breaks upon the sea. You are praised, who forms from the clay that cloaks our lives, the delicate vessels which contain our light.
Adonai's love for us, our desire to study Torah and fulfill mitzvot, is the theme for Ahava Rabbah. We continue on page 112. Ahava Rabbah Ahavtanu Adonai Eloheinu, Chemla Gedola V'Teira Chamalta Aleinu, Ba'avor Avotenu V'Imotenu, Shabbatchu V'cha, V'Tulamdeim Chukei Chaim, Kein Techonenu Utulamdenu.
Erinenu b'toratecha, v'dabek libeinu b'mitzvotecha, v'yached levavenu le'ahava u'yira et shemecha, v'lo nevosh, v'lo nikalim, v'lo La'olam va'ed, v'ha'erinenu b'toratecha, v'dabek libeinu b'mitzvotecha, v'yached levavenu le'ahava u'yira et shemecha.
The Shema, one of our oldest prayers, is a declaration of faith. In it, we state that all humanity is one, bound by our joys and our sufferings. We will continue with the Shema on page 114. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Please be seated.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levacha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha vechayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha veshinantam levanecha v'dibartam bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha uv'shartam le'ot al yadecha v'chayu letotafot bein einecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uv'yisharecha למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אדוני אלוהיכם. Amen. In the Micha Mocha, we sing the joyous song of freedom that the Israelites sang as they crossed the Red Sea. We continue with Sur Israel, pleading for this act of redemption to be repeated. Please join me on page 122 for the Micha Mocha.
נורא תחילות אוסף אלך, נורא תחילות אוסף אלך. שירה חדשה שבחוגי עולים, לשמך אוספת הים. יחד כולם הודו, וימלכו ויאמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. יא לה 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 לה, יא לה 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 לה, יא לה 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 לה, יא לה 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 לה. Sur Yisrael, Kuma be'ezrat Yisrael, Ufdei chinu mecha Yehuda ve'Yisrael. Go Aleinu Adonai Tzevaot Shemo, Kadosh Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. We've entered into the part of our service where we ask that our prayers be accepted, the Amidah, which literally means standing. This is the peak of our service where we offer our private prayers. Please join me on page 124 and rise in body or in spirit. Zafata tiftach ufi agid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagipor v'Chanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Chakol, V'zocher Chastei Avot v'imachot, U'mevii Geula livnei v'neichem, Lema'an Shema ve'achava, Melech Hazer u'Moshiach u'Maged, Baruch atah Adonai, Min Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh hakol atah, Rab lechoshia, Mashiv haruach, Urid hagashem. Mechakel chayim bechesed, Mechayeh hakol berachanim rabim, Somech noflim verofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishem ne'afar, Micha mocha ba'al gevurot, Umido melech, Melech mimit umechayeh, Umat
מלך החיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל. We continue with the Kedusha on page 130. Let us sanctify your name on earth as it is sanctified in the heavens above, as it is written by your prophet. Holy, holy, holy is Adonai Tzevaot. God's presence fills the whole earth.
Shimcha ba'olam, Keshem shemakdishim oto b'shmei maron, kakatulaya neviecha, v'rekam ze'el amar. Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzevaot, Melech ha'aretz, kevodo. Adir Adirenu, Adonai Adonenu, Adir Shimcha Bechol Haaretz, Baruch Kevod Adonai, Mimkamo, Echad Hu Eloheinu, Hu Avinu Malkeinu, Mushienu v'chu yashvienu, v'rakol laws le'enei kol chai. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Melech Adonai le'olam, Elochai Tzion, ledor v'dor. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Please be seated.
Now I'd like to call up Jen Liss, Harlan, and Aliana's tutor to offer the words of Lador Vador, as well as Ari to offer the words of Lador Vador.
Lador Vador, Lador Vador, Lador Vador, Nagid God Lecha, Uhul Netzach Netzachim, Uhul Netzach Netzachim, Kedushatcha Nakdish. Lador Vador, Lador Vador, Lador Vador, Nagid God Lecha, Uhul Netzach Netzachim, Uhul Netzach Netzachim, Kedushatcha Nakdish v'shivchacha Eloheinu mipinu lo yamush le'olam va'ed ki el melech gadol, ki el melech gadol HaKadosh Ata Lador Vador, Lador Vador, Lador netzach netzachim kedushatcha nakdish Baruch atah Adonai
The Vishamru is in the middle of the 7 blessings of the Shabbat Amidah. It asserts that we will keep Shabbat as a sign of our covenant. Please join me in the Vishamru on page 132. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם בני ובני בני ישראל אותי לעולם אותי לעולם אותי לעולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם כשם שמקדישים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם
וביום השביעי שבת וינפש שבת וינפש שבת וינפש
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם
Please turn to page 136 for Ritzeh, our plea to Adonai to accept our prayers. Ritzeh, Ritzeh, Ritzeh Adonai Eloheinu be'amcha Yisrael u'tefilatam be'achavat yikavel u'tehi leratzon tamir u'tehi leratzon tamir avodat Yisrael amecha el karov lechol korav pnei elovadecha v'choneinu sheforuchacha
עלינו, שפוך רוחך עלינו, ותחזם עינינו, ושובך לציון, לציון ברחמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, המחזיר שכינתו לציון, המחזיר שכינתו לציון.
Please turn to page 138. This prayer expresses our gratitude for all the blessings in our lives.
מודים אנחנו לך, שאתה הוא אדוני אלוהינו, ואלוהי אבותינו ואימותינו, לעולם ועד. צור חיינו, מגן ישענו, אתה הוא לדור ודור. ברוך אתה אדוני, הטוב שמך ולך נאה להודות. In the final blessing of the Amidah, we pray for peace, not only for the Jewish community, but for the world. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to share its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment fall within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among the inhabitants of the world. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name sanctify every home and every heart. Baruch atah Adonai, hamverech et amo Yisrael bashalom.
Sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, tova uveracha. Sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, tova uveracha. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, tova uveracha. Please continue silently with either the words that are in your siddur or the words that are in your hearts, and we will continue in song in just a few moments.
As we continue our celebration and our service this morning, having been led in the first part of our service so well by Aliana and by Harlan, we're going to continue with Seder Kriyat HaTorah, the service for taking out and reading from our Torah. And so I'd like to invite up members of Harlan and Aliana's families as we pass the Torah down the generations. So I'd like to invite up to our bima Jamie Bolnick, Elena, David, and Aliana, as well as Andrea Friedenthal, Leah, and David, and Harlan. The rest of the congregation I'd like to invite to please rise in body or in spirit.
Ein kamocha va'Elohim Adonai ve'ein kema'asecha malchutecha malchut kol olamim u'memshaltecha bechol dor v'dor Adonai melech Adonai malach Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ad Adonai oz le'amo yitein Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom Av ha'rachamim heitiva vertzonecha et Sion tivne chomot Yerushalayim tivne chomot Yerushalayim ki vecha levad batachnu melech Eram v'nisa Adon olamim ki mitzion teitzei Torah ki mitzion teitzei Torah udevar Adonai mirushalayim Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah Le'amo Yisrael Bikdushato Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Gadlu l'Adonai iti, unromem Shemo yachdav. Lecha Adonai hagedula v'hagevura v'hatiferet v'hanetzach v'hahod ki chol b'shamayim uvaretz ki chol b'shamayim uvaretz Lecha Adonai hamamlacha v'hamidnasei lechol rosh על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם אומר, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד, על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים, על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד, על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים, על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים.
Please be seated. Before we hear from our Torah and our Torah reading, we're going to hear a little bit about the Torah reading that we'll be hearing this morning. We're going to learn a little bit about this Torah portion. And so I'd like to invite up Sydney Bleidistel, Harlan's sister, to share some words about our Torah portion this morning.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Sydney Bleidistel, Harlan's older sister, and practically Aliana's older sister, too. Now, before I start, I just want to say how proud I am of both these kids. They, one, look absolutely amazing, and two, they have worked so hard all year long for this, and much longer than that, too. I am honored to be sharing what is happening during their Torah portion. As of right now, Moses and the Hebrews have left Egypt and have been traveling through the desert. For about 40 days and nights, Moses has been on Mount Sinai talking to God individually and is giving him the handwritten commandments. God tells Moses of a tent of appointed meetings for offerings and worshipings. It was a portable one so they could practice through them moving through the desert. God teaches Moses of the Sabbath, the day of rest, of his jealousy, that he's a jealous God and there's only one to be worshiping. When God finishes teaching him all of these commandments, he gives the stones to Moses. And at the same time, at the bottom of the mountain, Aaron, his brother, has gathered all the gold from these people who have fallen into hopelessness and doubt because Moses has been up there for 40 days, 40 nights, they haven't seen him. And he takes all their gold and creates a golden calf. So God tells Moses about the golden calf and that they've started worshiping this idol. And he is so mad, obviously, Moses, he's like, please forgive them, forgive my people. And God is merciful and forgives them. But Moses still comes down with so much anger and smashes the commandments before them. He questions them on how quickly they could lose faith, how quickly they could worship something that they created themselves. Moses burned the calf down and got rid of it. He built the tent of worship for them to practice so they could worship Adonai throughout the desert. They moved on and they made their way to the land of the milk and honey. And I think that this Torah portion is so great for these two because they have made it work. We have been living in Oregon for almost 3 years now, as most of you may know, and so Harlan and Aliana both have been on Zoom calls and in meetings and practicing throughout all of it. They have been constantly working so hard for this, and with over 800 miles between them, they have made this day work. I'm so insanely excited and proud of them and excited to be here, and I'm so happy to see what they continue to do. You two have done such an amazing job, and I'm sure will. Mazel tov.
We're going to call up members of Aliana and Harlan's circles to honor these different aliyot, these different readings from our Torah. And so for our very first aliyah, we'd like to call up Aliana's cousins, Lori Trent, Bob Trent, Greg Trent, Tanya Gross, Jeremy Gross, her aunts Debbie Mendoza and Sandra Vasquez, and her cousins Rebecca Everhart and Vanessa Grunim.
Nala Amod, Ulabella, Chana Nadav, Esther, Mishpacha, Laliyah HaTorah.
Vaymacher Moshe vayikod artsa vayishtachu vayomer imna matzati chen be'enecha Adonai yelechna Adonai bekir beinu Ki keshe oref hu vesalachta la'avonenu unchaltatenu unchaltanu vayomer hine anochim koreit berish neged kol amcha e'eseh niflaot asher lo nihre'uf chol ha'aretz unchol ha'goyim v'ra'a chol ha'a asher ata v'kirbav et ma'aseh Adonai kinorachu asher ani oseh ima shemor lecha et asher ani metzavecha chayom hineni goreish mipanecha etcha emori ve'etcha nakani ve'etcha ve'etcha chiviti ve'etcha pritzi ve'etcha chivi ve'etcha yevusi hishamer lecha pentichot berit leyoshev haaretz asher ata bayom ba'alecha pen yechiyeh lemokesh v'kir becha.
We continue with the English translation of that same reading.
Moses hastened to bow low to the ground in homage and said, "If I have gained your favor, O Lord, pray let my Lord go in our midst, even though this is stick-necked people. Pardon our iniquity and our sin, and take us for your own." God said, "I hereby make a covenant before all your people. I will work such wonders as have not been wrought on all the earth or in any nation. And all the people who are with you shall see how awesome are the eternal deeds which I will perform for you. Mark well what I command on you this day. I will drive out before the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. Beware of making a covenant with the inhabitants of the land against which you are advancing, lest they be a snare in your midst."
We continue now with the blessing after the Torah reading. For our next Aliyah, we call up Aliana's very proud parents, Elena and David, her brothers Dominic and Andrew, her grandmother Jamie Bolnick, her aunt and uncle Ari and Brenda, her cousins Matthew and Heather.
Nala Amod, Malka, Elisheva, David, Yehuda, Leib, Andrew, Yeta, Gittel, Chaim, Brenda, Matthew, Heather, Aliyah HaTorah.
Ki et mizbechotan titotsun ve'et matzevotam teshaberun ve'et asherav tichrotun ki lo tishtachave le'el acher ki Adonai kana shemo el kanai hu Pentichros berit leyoshev haaretz v'zanu acharei Elohechem v'zanu lelohechem ki nora lecha ve'alchata mivzivcho ve'ra'a Velachkatach minotav levanecha v'zanu venotav acharei Elohechem v'chiznu et banecha acharei Elohechem Elohei masecha lo ta'asela. No, you must tear down their altars, smash their pillars, and cut down their sacred posts. For you must not worship any other god, because the Eternal, whose name is impassioned, is an impassioned God. You must not make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, for they will lust after their God and sacrifice to their gods, and invite you, and you will eat of their sacrifices. And when you take wives from among their daughters for your sons, their daughters will lust after their gods, and cause your sons to lust after their gods. You shall not make molten gods for yourselves.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu torato emet, v'chayei olam natan b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
For our next Aliyah, we call up Aliana herself. By nature of taking on this Aliyah, she takes her place in our community as a bat mitzvah.
Nala amod, nala amod, nala amod, habat mitzvah. Nava shai bat malka Elishava v'David, laliyah haTorah.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Et chag hamatzot tishmor shivat yamim, tochal matzot asher tziviticha lemoed chodesh ha'aviv, ki bechodesh ha'aviv yatzata mimitzrayim. Kol peter rechem li, vechol michnecha tizachar, peter shor vaseh, ufeter chamot tivdeh veseh, ve'im lo tivdeh va'aravto, kol bechor banecha tivdeh, ve'lo yera'u fanai rekam. Sheishet yamim ta'avod, uvayom hashvi'it tishbot, v'charish uvakatzir tishbot. You shall observe the feast of the unleavened bread, eating unleavened bread for 7 days, as I have commanded you, at the set time of the month of Abib. For the month of Abib you went forth from Egypt. For every issue of the womb is mine, from all your livestock that drop a male as a firstling, whether cattle or sheep. But the firstling of a donkey you shall redeem with a sheep. If you do not redeem it, you shall break its neck. And you must redeem every male firstborn among your children. None shall appear before me empty-handed. 6 days you shall work, but on the 7th you shall cease from labor. You shall cease from labor, even at plowing and harvest time. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu torat emet, v'chayei olam natan b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Well done, Shakawa. I think you have a few people behind you who might want to give you some hugs and some mazel tov. I want to invite you, give some hugs. Mazel tov, well done. Well, we continue our reading this morning. I'd like to invite Harlan to come up as we continue our Torah portion this morning. So you can have a seat. We'd like to call up members of Harlan's Circle to help bless these readings and help lift up these readings. And so I'd like to call up Michael Bleidistel, Libby Welch, and Sydney Bleidistel.
Nala amod, Mikael v'Shoshana, v'Sini laliyah haTorah.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamborah.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Atah Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Nahar Banu Michol Hamim V'natan Lanu et Torto. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah. Amen.
V'chag Shavuot ta'aseh lecha bikurei katzir chitim v'chag ha'asif tekufat hashana shalosh pe'amim bashana yera'eh kol zechurecha et penei ha'adon Adonai Elohei Yisrael ki oris goyim mipanecha v'chir chatim et gevulecha velo yachmod ish et artzecha ba'alotecha le'ra'ot et penei Adonai Elohecha kadosh Shalosh pe'amim bashana lo tishchat al chametz dam zichi v'lo yalin laboker sevach kapasach. You shall observe the Feast of Weeks of the first fruits of the wheat harvest and the Feast of Ingathering at the turn of the year. 3 times a year all your males shall appear before the sovereign eternal, the God of Israel. I will drive out nations from your path and enlarge your territory. No one will cover your land when you go up to appear before the eternal your God 3 times a year. You shall not offer the blood of my sacrifice with any leaven, and the sacrifice of the Feast of Weeks, or the Feast of Passover, shall not be left lying until morning.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen.
For our next Aliyah, we call up Harlan's very proud parents, Leah and David.
Nala Amod, Leah v'David l'Aliyah HaTorah.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Barcha Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Reshit Bikurei Admatecha Tavi Beit Adonai Elohecha Lo Tivashel Gedi Bachalev Imo Vayomer Adonai El Moshe Ketov Lecha Et Hadvarim Ha'ela Ki Al Pi Hadvarim Ha'ela Karati Itcha Berit Ve'et Yisrael Vayachisham Im Adonai Arba'im Yom Ve'arba'im Laila Lechem Lo Achol Umayim Lo Shata Vayichtov Al Chaluchot Et Divrei Haverit Aseret Hadvarim Vayachi Beret Et Moshe Mechar Sinai Ushnei Luchot Ha'edut Beyad Moshe Berito Min Hahar Umoshe lo yada ki karan or panav bedabro ito. Vayar Haron lifnei v'chol b'nei Yisrael et Moshe v'chinei karan or panav vayir'u migesher elav. The choice first fruits of your soil you shall bring to the house of the Eternal your God. You shall not boil a kid in its mother's milk. And the Eternal One said to Moses, write down these commandments, for in accordance with these commandments I make a covenant with you and with Israel. And he was there with the Eternal 40 days and 40 nights. He ate no bread and drank no water, and he wrote down on the tablets the terms of the covenant, the 10 commandments. So Moses came down from Mount Sinai, and as Moses came down from the mountain bearing the 2 tablets of the pact, Moses was not aware that the skin of his face was radiant since he had spoken with God. Aaron and all the Israelites saw that the skin of Moses' face was radiant, and they shrank from coming near him.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
For our 6th and final Aliyah, we call up Harlan himself. By nature of taking on this Aliyah, he takes his place in our community as a bar mitzvah.
Nala amod, nala amod, nala amod, habar mitzvah. Amtzi ben le'arisha v'David, l'aliyah haTorah.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvara.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu michol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Vayikra alechem Moshe vayashuvu elav Aharon v'chol chanasiim ba'eda vayedaber Moshe alechem ve'acharechem nigshu kol b'nei Yisrael vayetzavem et Kol asher diber Adonai ito bechar Sinai. Vayachal Moshe midaber itam vayitin al panav masveh. Uvevo Moshe lifnei Adonai lidaber ito yasir et hamasveh ad seito. Umoshe vayatsa vidiber el b'nei Yisrael et asher yitzuveh v'ra'u b'nei Yisrael et p'nei Moshe ki karan or p'nei Moshe v'heshiv Moshe et hamasveh al panav Ad ba'o ledaber ito. But Moses called to them, and Aaron and the chieftains in the assembly returned to him, and Moses spoke to them. Afterward, all the Israelites came near, and he instructed them concerning all that the Eternal had imparted to him on Mount Sinai. And when Moses had finished speaking with them, he put a veil over his face. Whenever Moses went in before the Eternal to converse, he would leave the veil off until he came out. And when he came out and told the Israelites what he had been commanded, The Israelites would see how radiant the skin of Moses' face was. Moses would then put the veil back over his face and went to speak with until he went in to speak with God. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. And after leading us and reading from our Torah so beautifully and so well, Aliana and Harlan, I'd like to invite all of us to say Yasher Koach on the count of 3 together. Yasher Koach. Well done, you guys. Well done. Well done. Well, we're going to continue our service by lifting and dressing our Torah. I'd like to invite up Michael Bleidistel as well as Greg Trent to lift and dress our Torah. For the rest of the congregation, I'd like to invite you to please rise in body or in spirit.
That was awesome. Michael, come on over. I'll go ahead and take a couple steps back here.
Zot HaTorah, v'zot HaTorah asher sa Moshe, v'zot HaTorah asher sa Moshe. Lifnei b'nei Yisrael. V'zot HaTorah, v'zot HaTorah, v'zot HaTorah, v'zot HaTorah, v'zot HaTorah, v'zot HaTorah, al pi Adonai beyad Moshe. Lai la la lai lai lai, lai 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 lai, yai la la lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai la lai, yai lai la lai, yai lai la lai, yai lai lai la lai, lai lai.
Please be seated.
Well, just as we have the task this morning of learning about words from our Torah, taking them to heart and allowing them to ask us questions, so too do we have the opportunity to learn from other parts of our Bible as well. And so to introduce our Haftorah reading this morning, I'd like to call up another young adult, another student in our community, Dominic Stevenson, to introduce our Haftorah reading, who also happens to be Aliana's brother.
Hello. Thank you so much for coming to support my sister Aliana and my little bro Harlan. I was given the honor of introducing their Haftorah. Let me just begin by giving a little background for the portion. It's kind of confusing without the context. Their Haftorah portion is an excerpt from the story of Elijah and the prophets of Baal. The story is about the prophet of God Elijah, whom confronted the 450 prophets of Baal. Around this time, King Ahab was blaming Elijah for the region being in a great famine because Elijah was capable of stopping the famine, yet he would not, for King Ahab had stopped worshiping God to worship Baals instead. The people of Israel gathered, and Elijah presented a question. He asked that they decided whether they should follow God or Baal. The people couldn't decide. He then proposed a challenge. Each side would be given a bowl to offer to their deity. The first deity to produce fire is the true God. A part that really stood out to me was that Elijah stood alone against so many other people. This reminded me that even if the majority may believe in one thing, it doesn't necessarily mean it's true. Aliana and Harlan, I hope that you remember that there will be times where people won't agree with you and you may stand alone. But if you stick strongly to your beliefs, you will find it leads you to evolving into your authentic self. Mazel tov on your b'nai mitzvah, and I love you both. And now Harlan will continue the rest of the story so we can learn what happens between Elijah and the 450 prophets of Baal.
I'd like to invite Harlan and Aliana back up to our bima to now teach us from those very same words.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nvi'im tovim v'ratza v'divrechem hane'emarim be'emet Baruch atah Adonai Abocher b'Torah Uv'Moshe Avdo Uv'Yisrael Amo Uv'Invi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek. Vayomer Eliyahu Linvi'ei haba'al Bacharu lachem Hapar ha'echad Va'asu rishona Ki atem harabim V'kir'u b'shem Elohechem ve'esh lo tasimu vaychu et hapar asher natan lachem vaya'asu vayigreu v'shem habal mehaboker Ve'ad hatzochoraim lemor habal anenu ve'en kol ve'en ona va'afaschu al chamizbeach asher asa
Vayechi Vesoharayim Vechater Bocher Eliyahu Vayomer Kir'u Vegodadu Ki Elohim Hu Ki Sia Vechi Sig Lo Vechi Derech Lo ulai siahu vekota vayigreu bekol gadol vayigodadu kimash patam baharavod uvarmachim o shefachtaim Aleichem.
Then when Elijah said to the prophets of Baal, "Since there are so many of you, you take a bowl and prepare it first. Call on your God, but don't set fire to the wood." They took the bowl that was given to them, prepared it, and called on Baal from morning to noon, shouting, "Answer us, Baal." But there was no sound, no answer. As they did their hopping dance around the altar that had been set up.
At midday, Elijah began to mock them, saying, "Call louder, he's a god. Maybe he's thinking, or has gone off to the privy. Or maybe he's asleep and will wake up." So they raised their voices, cutting themselves with knives and lances, as was their practice, until blood flowed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam tzor kol ha'olamim sadik bechol hadorot ha'el ha'ne'eman ha'omer ve'oseh ha'medaber u'mkayem shekol devarav emes v'tzedek al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al hanvi'im Ve'el yom haShabbat hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu l'kedusha v'linucha lechavod u'tifaret. Al hakol Adonai Eloheinu, anachnu modim lach, umevarchim otach. Yitbarach shimcha befi kol chai, tamid le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh haShabbat.
Amen. I invite us together to offer our appreciation, to say Yasher Koach for such a beautiful reading together. Yasher Koach. Well done, you guys. Well done. Will we continue our service now with the returning of our Torah to the Ark? I'd like to invite Sydney and Dominic up to our bima to open our Ark. The rest of the congregation I'd like to invite to please rise in body or in spirit.
Nope, it was great. Eitz Chaim hi lemachazikim ba v'tomchecha me'ushar deracheha darchei noam v'chol netivoteha shalom. Hashivenu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva Chadish Chadish Yameinu Chadish Yameinu Kekedem.
Please be seated. Just as we have asked our young and emerging adults to take the words from our Torah and help them come to life for us by reading them in their original language, so too have we asked them to interpret these same words, helping us let these words live in our hearts with the way that they see them, the way that they understand, and questions that draw for them from these very same texts.
Hello, I would like to share my thoughts on my Torah portion in the book of Exodus. It's called Kitisa. This Torah portion taught me about having faith in God, yourself, other people, and believing in what we can't see. Let me tell you about the golden calf. In the story, Moses had successfully led the Israelites out of Egypt, where they had been enslaved for centuries. After walking through the Sinai desert for years, they still had not found the land of milk and honey. The Israelites had grown impatient and restless. They were beginning to lose faith. To calm them, Moses climbed up Mount Sinai to talk with God and receive the 10 Commandments. As weeks passed, the Israelites became even more desperate because they were afraid Moses wouldn't return. After he had been gone for over a month, they started to believe Moses had died and they lost all faith. They decided to create their own god, the golden calf. At about that time, Moses came down the mountain with the tablets containing the 10 Commandments, saw the golden calf and his people worshiping it, and he was furious. He yelled at the Israelites, condemning them for what they had done and for their lack of faith. He was angry that the Jews had allowed their fears to determine their actions instead of continuing to have faith in God. In his anger, Moses destroyed the tablets, throwing them down the mountain. The next day, he went back up the mountain to talk to God again in an attempt to convince God to forgive the Israelites. But before Moses went back up, he told them that he was coming back and to not make a fake God just because they were afraid, and he told them to have faith. It's not a rare thing for people to be afraid or to lose faith and stop believing and stuff. Everyone has fears. Some people like me are afraid of heights. Others might be afraid of the dark, spiders, snakes, maybe flying on an airplane. All of this is normal. It's nothing to be ashamed of. However, we shouldn't surrender to our fears, whatever they may be. Don't let them get in the way of doing what you need to do in your life. Like, for example, when I first started studying for my bar mitzvah, I was not confident. I thought I wouldn't be able to do this, and I was pretty much terrified. I just wanted to do as little as possible. When I started studying, I realized it wasn't that hard. In fact, it was kind of fun, although I will admit to complaining about it a lot. I found I enjoy singing the prayers and find myself doing it even when I'm not studying. Even though I had been scared at first, I realized I had help from my tutor, Jan, Cantor Cooper, from Rabbi Fox, and from my family. With their help and in spite of my fears, I was able to be confident and felt ready for today. So I can say from personal experience that it is important not to surrender to your fears and instead to continue to have faith in God and other people, and especially yourself. And also, there are some people I'd like to thank for helping me get ready for today. I want to thank Janet Liss. I want to thank Janet Liss for all the hours spent helping me prepare for today and tutoring me for so many months. I'm not sure how you put up with me and Aliana for that long, but great job. Thank you, Cantor Cooper, for teaching me how to read and chant the Torah portion, the Haftarah, and the prayers that go with them, and I really enjoyed our time together. Rabbi Fox, thank you for helping me understand my Torah portion and how to put my thoughts on it into writing. You really helped me bring it all into focus. Yeah. And David York, thank you for your music. You make it all flow together, and it sounds beautiful. Thank you to my family for supporting me through this process, being there for me and taking care of me all these years. Thank you to my second family, who has also loved me and supported me and made my life so much more fun. I love all of you so much. Thank you, Aliana, for being my lifelong best friend. And I'm very glad we could do this together. Thank you to my mom and my second mom, who both put in so much work to make it today and tonight happen. You guys are amazing, and I couldn't have done this without any one of you. Thank you for being here. It really means a lot to me and Aliana. I'm going to pass it to Aliana, I think.
Hi. Thank you so much for being here today. Before I do my Josh, I want to say a few thank yous. Thank you to Cantor Cooper and Rabbi Fox for supporting me in my journey to become a bat mitzvah, and for always being available every time I had questions. Thank you, Jan, for teaching me my prayers and giving me Smarties. I lost where it was. Thank you to David York for giving us beautiful music and helping me stay where I was during the prayers. Thank you to my parents for encouraging me to on this path and for keeping me and Harlan in contact so we can remain friends and celebrate this great achievement together. Also, thank you for giving me the extra support I needed, always reminding me to do my Torah study even when I didn't really want to. Thank you to my brothers for keeping me safe and teaming up with me in Nerf Wars. Thank you to Leah and Dave for being my second parents and letting me stay at their house a lot and bringing Harlan into my life. Thank you, Sydney, for being my big sister, and giving me memories I'll never forget. One of my favorites is staying up till 3 a.m., eating ice cream and watching movies while our brothers were sleeping. Thank you to Harlan for being the brother I never had, because let's not forget, I'm older by 65 days. Thank you to my Torah Center teachers and the Temple Israel staff for giving me this opportunity to be here today and helping me on my Jewish journey. Thank you to my Torah Center class, for helping me with my prayers right before I have to say them, always replying on the Jew crew, supporting me through this process, and of course making class fun and a lot of laughter. Thank you to my friends for dueling with me in early hours in the morning, and also when I'm feeling a little insecure. Lastly, thank you to everyone here, especially my family. You've all played a very important role in me being here today. Now on to my drash. While I was reading my Torah portion, many things stood out to me, but what stood out the most was kavod, which means respect. At the start of my Torah portion, Moses shows respect by bowing to God. This got me thinking that respect is such an important thing in the Jewish culture. After a little research on respect, I found a quote by Rabbi Hillel, who said, "That which is hateful to you, do not do to others." The value of showing respect is one of the main elements in the Jewish culture. At Temple Israel, we show respect by listening and being inclusive. Another thing we do to show respect is by handling the Torah with care and using a yod. Moses had to have respect for himself had to have respect for himself in order to respect God, because you can't respect others if you don't have respect for yourself. It got me thinking that usually me and my friends spend our lunch break in the wellness center. We talk a lot about self-respect. The idea behind self-respect is that if you do not have self-respect for yourself, why should anyone respect you? Self-respect is all about loving yourself and accepting who you are. This is something that I've been thinking about lately. I see a lot of kids my age that don't have the best self-respect. One thing that does not show self-respect is not valuing education. This can be seen on how they don't pay attention in class or fail to turn in missing assignments. All this does is put you behind, missing out on important lessons that you'll need in the future. Trust me, my spelling sucks. I should have paid more attention in class. Respect also shows up in my Mitzvah project. I volunteered with rescued horses, if you didn't know, but you probably do because I talk about it a lot. While working with them, I learned to respect the horses, the people around, and all the equipment we used. By showing them respect, I earned their respect. I made friends and found my true passion for horses, all thanks to this wonderful community. Thank you again to the entire Torah Center staff, because you really make a difference in our lives much more than you know.
Yasher koach, Aliana. Okay. Aliana, I get now to share some words with you. When I was thinking about what I wanted to share with you today, I immediately came to the first time that you and I had an opportunity to sit, just the two of us, to talk about your Devar Torah. And I'm not going to give the specifics because I don't want to give anything away, right? But the thing that you were really excited about in that moment was that you had just had the opportunity to share some time with some really good friends of yours. And if you remember, it was the day before, I think that it is incredibly, it is so perfect that you chose the name Shai, Nava Shai, thank you. Nava Shai, thinking of a different translation of it. Because I think it connects to that particular love of being with friends, and I'll explain. There is a theory about what is it when we talk about something that is beautiful, right? That's a part of your name. When we talk about something that's beautiful, there's all different kinds of interpretations of what is that thing that is beautiful. In fact, on into the early days of philosophy and even into the early days of our Jewish tradition, people wondered about what is that thing that draws us? What is that thing that we have that we call beautiful? In our tradition, we have a tremendous amount of beauty sent all over the place to different parts of our community, and it stems from something that is in your Torah portion, a particular moment in your Torah portion that actually, and this is going to be important, you weren't the one that read. Harlan actually read. It talked about Moses being so radiant that he actually, at some point, had to kind of veil his face and then he would unveil it because there was such radiance. In our tradition, what is beautiful is what is radiant and what draws us, not just to something, but to someone. When we are drawn to each other, it's beauty that allows us to be drawn to each other. In fact, they talk about why is it that the golden calf was something that we couldn't use, right? It would make sense that we have other sacred objects. Why is the golden calf something that we said that's not acceptable? And it's because with the golden calf, the entire people of Israel came together and said, this is our God. Not that this allows us to connect more to each other, but that this is the thing in and of itself. So, what we learn from that is this idea that it's not actually the thing itself, it's the way that it draws us to each other that allows something to be beautiful, that allows something to be sacred. Aliana, you have a tremendous gift in the way that you live in this world and in this community. You draw people together. You bring people together. The way that you see beauty in our world is direct to what we learn from our community, from our tradition, which is that it should never be a substitute for the way that we can connect with each other. And of course, you draw those people around you. Each and every member of this community, we are here because of you. And even to the point where some of us have come all the way from another state to share a special day with you. And so, Aliana, this is my hope for you. As you continue to seek out and to share that beauty with our community, I invite you to keep on that path. We say the words Yashar Koach because we want to invite you to remember that the path that you are on is already a powerful, good, and beautiful path. Continue to bring people to you, continue to bring people around you, and continue to share with us what is so beautiful in our world, the people that you surround yourself with, and the way that you offer that gift of beauty to those very same people. Aliana, Mazel Tov on this day, and thank you for bringing each and every one of us together to celebrate with us. You are truly a beautiful gift. Mazel Tov. I'd like to invite you to have a seat, and I want to share some words with Harlan today. Harlan, I think I missed something. This is meant to be a moment where it feels like there's a tremendous amount in front of us. You picked a very particular name for this moment, and to remind yourself of how you want to live as a teenager in these coming years. The name Amtsi, which comes from the understanding, the idea that we, each and every one of us, are artists in our lives. Now, I hope you'll forgive me, but it is only fitting that the way the two of you have such a powerful connection with each other that I can't help but offer a similar theme in the words that I want to share with you, and that is also the theme of beauty. You have very near your heart the work of looking at beauty in our world. Now, part of that is beauty that we find in sound, and you and I both have a great shared love of jazz and the way that music can bring all kinds of beauty to our ears and our hearts. And the way that visual art offers that very same. I think that it is quite fitting that today, as you set this particular talit around your shoulders, drawing out all of these beautiful colors, that you might be reminded of the ability for you to paint with those same colors, not just literally, but figuratively as well. In our lives, we have the opportunity to paint with almost any color that we might see. And we learn, remember I told you I was going to tell you a text earlier, right? We learn from Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel that our lives are just like a blank canvas, each and every one of us filled with opportunity, and that it is our choice, it's our task to find the right colors to paint that particular canvas. Harlan, I am not worried about you painting your canvas with bright, beautiful, and intentional colors. And I want to share a similar theme for you as I have for Aliana, because there is such a bright light that comes from the two of you sharing this moment. And that is that so often the brightest of those lights comes from the people in our lives. My hope for you is continue to make those trips. Continue to come down here, first of all, knowing that this is and will always be your spiritual home, and that of the colors that you bring in your life, may you paint with many good and continued loving people, just like everyone who is here to share this day with you. Harlan, mazel tov, and thank you for bringing your colors, your beauty, and your art to each and every one of us. Mazel tov. As Harlan, stay up here. Aliana, I'm going to invite you to come up as well. I'd like to invite now your parents to offer their blessings for you today. So I'd like to first invite Leah and David to offer their blessings.
All right. So today is a culmination of years of dedication and study, learning and prayers, lessons from the Torah, celebrating holidays, becoming familiar with the customs and traditions that have been passed on for thousands of years. It is the time when we choose to take our place as a Jew in a world where that's not always easy. I would like to thank our family and friends and teachers for helping us provide a safe environment, rich with opportunities to explore and grow. This is how children become strong, resilient, kind, hardworking, and ethical human beings. It is through watching their families and communities say kind words to each other, laugh and cry together, and come together to celebrate moments like this. We are so happy to get to share this moment in our lives with all of you. Harlan and Aliana, you did it. I am so incredibly proud of both of you. Leading the congregation in prayer and reading from the Torah is hard and a little or a lot scary, but you were prepared and did amazing. Your perseverance and hard work shined through today as I knew it would. Now, Harlan, you have been a surprise since the moment we knew of your existence. We had hoped for many years, but had accepted the fact that we had two wonderful children, and that's all it would be. And then came you. You were our cherry on top. We were so excited and grateful to be having another baby. You have been surprising me ever since. As a baby, you always wanted to be able to look at and touch everything around you. When you were a toddler, you had what seemed like boundless energy and a fascination with exploring the world around you. And by the time you turned 3, you had developed a wicked sense of humor and an irresistibly contagious laugh. When I think of that precious little boy, and now the amazing young man standing before me, I could not be any prouder. You are a loyal friend and a kind person. When you were in 2nd grade, there was a bench on the playground that was reserved for anyone who was feeling sad or lonely. Your teacher told us that you would always go sit next to someone who, if they were sitting on that bench. You didn't want them to feel sad, so you would ask them to play or just sit by them and talk. I knew you were smart and would do good in school, but hearing that you were kind and thought of others made my heart so happy. You have been kind-hearted since you were very young, and any time we saw a person that seemed to be unhoused, you would ask if we could help them. It has always bothered you to see people who are less fortunate. So it made perfect sense that you chose to help people with food insecurities for your mitzvah project. You make me laugh all the time. You are playful, witty, sarcastic, and often completely irreverent, which usually cracks me up, but also often earns you a lecture. You are so good-natured and just a generally happy, easygoing person. Even though you have definitely hit your teens and love to remind me how short I am, you are still your sweet, lovable self. You're developing into a real Renaissance man. Your interest and talent seem to have no limit. Since you were a toddler, you've had an impressive imagination. You used to love to dress up and would become completely engrossed in your character. As you've gotten older, this imagination has developed into a very creative mind. You are so artistic and draw constantly, continuously honing your skills and creating truly beautiful images. You love anime and are fascinated with Japanese culture, so you decided you wanted to speak Japanese. I helped you get Duolingo and you were off and running. You told me you were going to do it every day for a month, and I said, okay, we'll see. That was all the challenge you needed. You didn't miss a day. It's that type of dedication and willingness to push yourself when it's something you want that makes me believe you truly will be able to accomplish anything you put your mind to. You love cooking and trying out new recipes. You have fun going into expensive cooking stores and looking at all the cool kitchen gear and expensive knives. You play the tenor saxophone and have asked for piano lessons. You're interested in science and like to understand how and why things happen. The most impressive thing about you, Harlan, is how completely comfortable you are in your own skin. You have developed your own style and will often remind me that the only one who needs to like what you wear is you. I was raised to worry about what everyone thought. It was always important to make a good impression. I love that you are comfortable just being you, and you don't feel driven to earn everyone's approval. It's truly amazing and life-changing as a parent when you realize your child has valuable lessons to teach you. Part of your Torah portion is focused on the importance of having faith and believing in things even when you can't see them. Not letting fear get in the way of accomplishing your goals. You consistently do this when you don't even realize it. As you move forward, I hope this faith and innate belief in yourself helps you create the life you want, filled with joy, family, friendship, community, and love. And know that no matter how old you are or where or what you're doing, I will always be your biggest fan, cheering you on, loving you, and just being grateful that I get to be your mom. Aliana, you have been such a gift in my life. When I was pregnant, I couldn't decide whether I wanted a boy or a girl. So with you, I feel like I was blessed with both. I still got to do all the fun girly stuff, cute hair, cute toes, adorable outfits. And now that you're older, makeup and purses and, of course, shoes. And as fun as all that is to share with you, what amazes me about you is your organizational and leadership skills, which were apparent from a very young age. I remember walking into Harlan's room when you guys were about 3. You were both sitting on the floor with all his crayons and markers dumped out all around you. And when I asked what you were doing, you told me you were organizing them. You explained how you were having Harlan separate the crayons from the markers, and then you would organize them by color. I was shocked, but you had Harlan diligently separating everything. And the two of you stayed on task until you were done. Not the average activity for a 3-year-old. You truly are a force to be reckoned with. You remind me of your mom in many ways, and since she's one of my favorite people in this whole world, that puts you right at the top of my list, Aliana. It has been an honor being your second mom, watching you blossom into the smart, feisty, strong-willed girl you are today. I'm so excited to see where the future takes you, or where you take the future. Our families are so connected with paths that seem destined to be intertwined, and that just makes today even more incredible. Our families together, creating memories. I love you both so much. Mazel tov, Aliana and Harlan.
Okay, Harlan. Hi, everybody. And thank you so much for being here. It's great to be back at Temple Israel after a few years, and it was really, truly awesome to see all of you. I want to thank the Rabbi and the Cantor and David York for all their support, the whole staff here at the temple, all the teachers over the years. Jan, where did she go? Oh, there you are. Thank you so much for everything, for the singing, for the tutoring, and just for being wonderful. And I want to give a shout out to my wife and Elena. They have both worked so tremendously hard for this and put in so much effort, and it's going to be awesome tonight, and it has been awesome here. Now, Harlan, I simply cannot even begin to adequately say how proud I am of you. I just can't. Not only are you smart, funny, and creative, but you are kind, compassionate, and genuinely interested in helping other people whenever you can. I remember when you were going to be recognized with an award at school. I think you were in first or second grade. We weren't sure what the award would be for, because they never tell you that. It would be math, reading, science. We were stunned when it turned out not to be an academic award at all, but instead an award for, and I kid you people not, spreading kindness around campus, quote unquote. We already knew you were smart. We weren't worried about that. What we were worried about was the kind of person you would become, and that award put our minds at ease. It showed that even when we weren't looking, you were exactly the type of person we hoped you would be. Our hearts burst with pride, and we have never recovered. Never forget how amazing you are. One of the most amazing things about you is your passion. You are very definitely a go big or go home kind of guy. When you are interested in something, you go all in. For example, while in preschool at the JCC, you were into superheroes, especially Batman, in a big way. Not only did you have multiple superhero-themed birthday parties, but you had costumes for many of the characters, which you would wear all the time, and as Leah pointed out, you would then get into character. You also wanted to listen to their various theme songs in the car, so I had to download the themes for Batman, Spider-Man, Superman, and several others onto my iPod. And one day, when you asked me if I had a theme song for Iron Man, when I played the only Iron Man song I had, which of course was the one by Black Sabbath, it immediately became your favorite song. You would ask for it every time we were in the car and even sang it in the outfield when you played t-ball. The shocked expressions on the other dads' faces was priceless. Over time, you found other songs by Black Sabbath that you loved as well and began seeking out other heavy metal bands like Metallica and Five Finger Death Punch. While you have since expanded your musical tastes into other genres, you are still my favorite metalhead. When you started playing Minecraft, you ordered posters, room decorations, shirts, and other merchandise. You became interested in watching YouTube gamers like Dan TDM and especially Preston Plays to get Minecraft tips and to learn strategies. You not only watched them endlessly and tried the things they showed you when you played the game yourself, but you also got and frequently wore these YouTubers merchandise. When you got into Pokemon, you had to have a 3-inch Pokemon notebook with Charizard on the cover, eventually stuffed with hundreds of Pokemon cards in special card holder pages organized by category. You watched the Pokemon TV shows, even naming your cat Ash after the main Pokemon trainer that the storyline followed. You also insisted we download the Pokemon Go app on our phones, which you then played everywhere you went, often running the battery out on our phones. When you started playing Fortnite, you not only played the game constantly, but we had to get you a monthly battle pass so you could earn the level 100 skin for every season. You bought additional skins for the game as they were released, and you also got Fortnite room decorations, Nerf guns, toys, and clothes. When you and I started watching the MCU films, you decided that we not only had to watch them all, but you and I then had to watch them all again, all 24 or so, this time in what Marvel had designated timeline order. When you began developing your talent as an artist, you were not satisfied with simple colored pencils and pens for your drawing or with Play-Doh and other simple clay for your sculptures. You obtained professional paints, inks, brushes, and massive sets of alcohol markers. You began using more specialized clays, ordering special sculpting tools and equipment, including a pasta roller for thin sheets, who knew? And began watching professional sculptors on YouTube to learn new techniques. You have become an amazing artist and continue to blow me away with each new piece. When you got into anime, you not only streamed entire shows for weeks and months at a time, but you even had us watch some of them as a family. You got shirts, hoodies, hats, and other merchandise, which immediately became your favorite clothes to wear. You began drawing characters from your favorite anime shows, then went to Fan Expo and Wasabi Con. I'm not kidding, that's what it's called. At these conventions, you brought some of your character drawings so you could have those characters' voice actors autograph them. On top of all that, you then began using the Duolingo app to learn Japanese while studying Hebrew in preparation for today, so that you could eventually watch the shows in their original language. And finally, when you started playing in your school band, you moved from your first year's instrument, the clarinet, which you were quite good at, to tenor saxophone for the last 2 years. Not only have you played in several concerts already, but you have joined the jazz band, which meets before school, and played in their concerts as well, and even played at a weekend jazz festival. You have expressed interest in the all-city band in Salem, Oregon, where we now live, and have asked for private saxophone lessons to improve your skills even more. As I said, a go big or go home kind of guy. The most wonderful thing about your going all in on things is that this is also true for your relationships with family and friends. You are such a loving and supportive member of our family, which can be most easily seen in your closeness to your two nieces, who you all met here, Hayden and Aspen. You can't fool toddlers. They know who they like and who they don't, and they both clearly love you. As for your friends, just ask Aliana how good a friend you are. You are loyal to a fault. Be nice, Aliana. As many of your friends here and in Oregon can vouch for, and you genuinely care how your friends are doing. Harlan, we love you so much. We are so very proud of the person you are becoming and of what you and Aliana have accomplished with your B'nai Mitzvah. We will continue to support you in your various endeavors wherever life takes you. Keep being the kind of person that you are, and don't ever forget how much you're loved.
Now I'd like to call up Elena and Aliana and David to share their words.
All right, get your stopwatches ready. It's about to be the fastest speech in bat mitzvah history. Here we go. I want to start with a few thank yous. Thank you to Rabbi Fox for supporting Harlan and Aliana during their B'nai Mitzvah process. Thank you to Cantor Cooper and Jan Liss for the countless meetings each week, ensuring they would be ready for today. Thank you to Linda and Rachel for always providing a fun and nurturing environment where they can express themselves. Thank you to all of their Torah school teachers for inspiring a love of Judaism and Jewish values. Thank you to all of the admin staff who support our children and put up with us parents. Thank you to David York for your sharing your musical talents. Thank you to anyone I might have missed for helping our families be a part of this wonderful community. Aliana, your mother and I are so proud of you and Harlan on how well you did leading the congregation. I am especially proud of the hard work you did learning your prayers and Torah portions and how well you did on your speech. Hard work is not a new concept for you. I have seen you accomplish great things over and over, and it inspires me. One example is when you sell your Girl Scout cookies. Year after year, you always meet your goal of either 12 or 1,500 boxes of cookies within the first 3 weeks. It's a 6-week season, by the way. When you first mentioned in January of 2020, we don't know what happened then, that you wanted to sell 1,200 boxes of Girl Scout cookies, I thought this girl is crazy. But your hard work paid off, you met your goal, and I couldn't have been more proud. You're a sweet and responsible young lady. 2 qualities you get from your mother. You're so responsible that you're the one that keeps me on track. Often, you're the one waking me up, getting me going, and you're always the first one to the car whenever we're going somewhere. You make sure that you are where you need to be for Torah School, Girl Scouts, or the many other activities that you have going on. I aspire to be more responsible like you. But the quality you do get from me is your sense of humor. Sorry for most of the jokes she's told you guys. That's my fault. Seriously, I love the way you laugh, you smile, you joke, especially when your mother doesn't get it. Love you. Love you, honey. I will see something that no one else thinks is funny, something that makes me chuckle under my breath, and I'll look across the room, and there you are laughing with me. I'm so proud of the way you performed today, but most importantly, I'm incredibly proud of the young woman you have become. Thank you. Love you. 3 minutes, right?
Hey, mine's not that short, sorry. Okay. Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for being here today, and thank you for supporting us in this journey. And now, David did tons of thank yous, so I'm going to leave that part out. And I'm going to hold it together. Yes. Okay. Aliana. Okay. You never know when you'll experience a life-changing moment or how much you learn from your children, but you continually provide these moments for me. From the time you were a little girl, you marched to the beat of your own drum, reveling in the potential and accomplishing milestones on your own schedule. I can recall at 18 months when we thought you could only verbalize one word, which drew our concerns as well as the concerns of many of our teacher friends. But we discovered you actually had a whole repertoire of language at your disposal. In fact, a speech therapist whom we consulted blew some bubbles towards you, and lo and behold, bubbles emerged from your lips easily and clearly and repeatedly. We had no idea you even knew any other words besides dada. That day I learned everything will come to us at the right time. We just need to be patient. At a Hanukkah event at JCC, you were almost 3 years old. You were so cute on stage, dressed as a dreidel. You had Harlan on your left and Ellie on your right. During the performance, you noticed Harlan was not doing the dance correctly, and you turned to him and you told him what he should be doing. I wonder if you ever realized you weren't doing what you were supposed to be doing either. That day I realized that some might call you bossy, but I saw a strong female leader. By the way, Daddy would say, telling people how to do things the right way you get from me. On another occasion, while you were very young, about 5 years old, you and Dominic were playing on the trampoline. You both would jump for a few minutes and get out to drink your magic juice, water. You would give yourself more energy to keep on jumping. On one of those trips, back in the trampoline, someone forgot to pull the zipper down on the protection net. You fell out, hit your head, and passed out. Daddy quickly carried you into the house and called for help. As I was looking you over and assessing the situation, Bubby started yelling at me, "Give her CPR, give her CPR." At which point, I had to yell back, "She's breathing." After you came to and the paramedics took us to the hospital, during the ambulance ride, about every 3 minutes, you asked, "Where are we? Where are we?" Again and again, I would reply, "We're in the ambulance and we're on our way to see the doctor." In my head, I was thinking it was a 51st dates moment and my beautiful baby girl's memory was only going to last 3 minutes. That day I learned who panics in emergencies, Bubby, and how precious life is and how easily it can slip away.
A few years ago, we were attacked by a friend's dog. Although I took the brunt of the attack, trying to keep a dog away from you, this was traumatizing to us both. It was a challenge trying to help you overcome your fear of dogs while inside I was dealing with my own fears. But you did, much quicker than I have. From there, much to my own regret, your love for animals has grown immensely. You continually beg me to adopt animals. You spend time researching and learning more about them to strengthen your case. We soon became the proud parents of hamsters, and then more recently, a new puppy, increasing our dog count to 4. The puppy was supposed to be a Great Dane, which, by the way, is a very mellow dog, but it turned out to be more like Cruella de Vil. But your love for animals still continues to grow. Now as a teenager, you volunteer at Shoestring City Ranch each week to take care of rescued horses and other animals, grooming them and helping to feed them and cleaning out their stalls. This is not easy work, but you don't ever complain. In fact, you beg to go each week. It has been amazing to witness your commitment in befriending these animals who've endured a rough beginning, and how you've built their trust so that humans can be good. They've taught them that humans can be good and kind too. Watching your strength to overcome your fears of dogs and other animals only confirms what I already knew. You are a strong and passionate woman who can overcome any obstacles that's placed before them. From these experiences, I've learned, again, life is precious. I've also learned that being aware of your fears is smart, but being able to overcome them is the true mark of a successful person. I've learned to say no to adding more animals to our family. And Aliana, I hate to say it again because I've said it 100 times now, but it's still a no to adding a horse. From Pirkei Avot, the ethics of our father, Ben Zoma said, "Who is wise? The person who learns from everyone." We should not discount the lessons learned from someone younger or less educated. A truly wise person will always try to expand their knowledge and learn from everyone around them, no matter their age or their background. I am constantly learning from you, so now I'm sharing your lessons back with you. Be patient in life. Don't rush to grow up and try to act older. Be present in your everyday life and look for the miracles that are literally all around you. Find your voice and stand up for what you believe in. Don't be silent. Always remember, if someone calls you bossy, what that truly means is you're a strong woman with leadership skills. Cherish every moment, especially the ones with family and friends, because life is precious and unpredictable. Take pictures of those moments so you can always look back with fond memories. Fear is nothing more than an obstacle that stands in your way. Don't let it hold you back from being the person who you're meant to be. And it's okay to say no. Too often we get caught up trying to please others or trying to avoid conflict, or even having a fear of missing out, and we tend to say yes. Life will provide many twists and turns and responsibilities and stressors, and saying no is okay, except, of course, when I'm asking you to do your chore. Harlan, I'm not sure if you know or have heard the story. I think Leah touched on it a bit, but your mom and dad had been trying for years to have another baby. 9 years, in fact. That was a lot of busy nights and mornings. Your mom and I had talked about how fun it would be if we had babies together, but unfortunately they finally gave up and accepted that their family would just be 4. One night, while they were away on vacation with all of your extended family, Leah had a terrible cold and went to the doctor. And after a quick visit, they prescribed her some medicine and sent your parents on their way. But before she left, they gave her a pregnancy exam. Knowing it was negative, Leah didn't think much about it. Later that night, she received a message that, in fact, she was pregnant. She was so shocked and in disbelief, she even listened to the message again to make sure she heard it correctly. Instantly, she called me and said, "I just found out I'm pregnant. You need to hurry up and get pregnant too." What she didn't know, but quickly learned, was that I was already pregnant but hadn't announced it yet because it was still too early. Although we talked about how fun our lives could be by having babies together, we didn't know how life-changing it would be for both of our families. Leah didn't extend her family by 1. She extended it by 5, adding in our family. Quickly, our families had blended. We did everything together: beach days, weekly dinners, vacation, even holidays and birthdays. We didn't go more than a week without seeing each other. I became your second mom, as Leah did to Aliana. We planned early on for you and Aliana to share this special day together. We could see our futures completely blended. Then COVID hit and things changed. Your mom and dad decided to move almost 1,000 miles away to Oregon. And I could no longer see our blended futures. The day you asked if you could still share the B'nai Mitzvah with Aliana was the day I learned that even being 1,000 miles away couldn't keep our families apart. You've kept your parents on their toes since the day you were born. I remember one day when we were at Adventure in the Park, you were only about 1.5 years old. Aliana was just sitting on a mat playing with her toys, and you wouldn't sit for 1 minute. You were running after a ball or another child, or even running for just the joy of it. David and I were sitting there listening to the service, laughing at how Dave and Leah were going to have their hands full with you. That has been held true through the years. Not just that you're always on the go, but you're always keeping up with your natural curiosity and your ability to find joy all around you. There are many hopes and dreams that we have for you both, but I hope you take away from today the importance of never giving up on your dreams. You never know how life-changing they truly are until you experience them. Always remember to be present like that day in the park and enjoy what life offers to you. Don't sit around and wait for it to happen. Carpe diem, seize the day. And lastly, surround yourself by people who love you and who you love. Make it a point to call them and stay connected, because even 1,000 miles away can't break certain bonds. Mazel tov to you both. I love you.
That was beautiful. Go ahead and stay up here. Stay up here. I want to invite Leah and David Harlan to join us up here at the podium again. And I imagine that so many of us have our blessings we want to offer as well. And so I invite us to turn to page 262, page 262 of our prayer books. Let's offer these words together as a blessing. Together, our hearts are one on this joyous day as you commit yourself to a life of Torah, a life, we pray, filled with wisdom, caring, and right action. We pray that you will grow each day in compassion for the needy, in concern for the stranger, in love of all people. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah, Jacob and Rachel and Leah, bless you on your becoming a B'nai Mitzvah. May you grow with strength and courage, with vision and sensitivity, and may you always be certain of our love. Amen. I'd like to invite now Harlan and Aliana to come up to the bima to receive a blessing. I'd like to invite the rest of the congregation to please rise in body or in spirit. Aliana and Harlan, there are words that come to us from the book of Genesis, reminding us that just as we stand here today, generations and generations of our community have so too shared these sweet moments, wanting to offer blessing to their children, and the generations have offered these same words one to the next. Today, these words are for you.
Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May God's face be turned towards you with graciousness.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasim lecha shalom.
May God always watch over you, and may you be blessed with that greatest of gifts, that gift of peace. I invite us together to say, Amen.
Simin Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simin Tov, Simin Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simin Tov, Simin tov, mazel tov, simin tov, yehei lanu. Yehei lanu, uveho Yisrael. Yehei lanu, uveho Yisrael. Simin tov, mazel tov, simin tov, mazel tov, simin tov, mazel tov, simin tov, yehei lanu.
We continue our service now with the Aleinu prayer. I'd like to invite us to turn to page 282 of our prayer books.
Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula leotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. Well, our thoughts now turn to those in our community who have died in recent days or in this season and years past. We know that the presence of those who came before us remains with us every day of our lives. And it's days such as this that their presence is felt especially strongly. If you're joining us online, I invite you to share the names of those that you're thinking of in the chat at this time. And in addition to the artwork that we have here, remembering those who are an important part of this day, Harlan and Aliana would like to especially call to mind today Leonard and Elaine Bolnick, Samuel and Anna Applebaum, Boris and Gertie Naylor, Bob Mendoza and Laura Mendoza, Beverly Lane, John Lane, Elmer Bleidistel, Paula Rosen, David and Rose Seisler, Eva Wolfson, and Gary Evans. Additionally, the Shabbat we hold in our hearts those who are observing Shiva and Shloshim, those who have lost someone in recent days, in the past 7 and 30 days. And so our hearts go out to those near to Tilla Carroll. Our hearts are with Michael and Gavin, Denise. As we remember Dave Drew, our hearts are with Martin and Charlotte Axel. As we remember Lance Vault, our hearts are with Marilyn and Jamie, Meredith and Paxton, Hallie, Brenny, Michaela, Addie, and Ronnie. And as we remember Jordan Eric Sherwin, our hearts are with Sarah Ann and Sheldon, Todd and Vicky, Jeremy, Landon, and Sebastian. And as we remember Arlene Schaefer, our hearts are with Susie and Bruce Amster, Sharon and Adam Brown, Julie and Dave Hamer, Joanna, Brandon, Sadie, Levi, Aubrey, Caroline, and Bailey. Additionally, this Shabbat, we mark the yard site, the anniversary of the death of Gustav Berger, Allegra Brooks, Howard Davis, Jake Dabrowski, Buddy Edelman, Lloyd Ehrenberg, Mildred Epstein, Frida Ferris, Connor Firstman, Sam Gerber, Louis Haith, Bernice Ham, Fanny Harris, Moses Hartman, Florence Hartman, Gerald Horwitz, Richard Callis, Sophie Lasners, Bertha Leb, Sidel Levin, Joey Lapellis, Sally McKibben, Sylvia Meltzer, Mary Reese, Vinton Rosebrock, Herbert Samuels, Henry Sassoon, Rosaline Murr, Jerome Spatz, Ann Stern, and Louis Wolfe. If you are here thinking of someone in particular on this Shabbat, it's our custom to invite you to rise, to share their name as my eyes meet yours. I'd like to invite all of us now to rise together and as one with the words of the Mourner's Kaddish on page 294. Page 294. Itgadal v'itgadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divarach yirteh ve'amlich malchuteh, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael. B'agala v'izman kari v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam olmei maya, yitbarach v'ishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'itadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha barichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shuata, tushbachata v'nechamata, ta'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chaim alenu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Osei shalom b'mramav, hu yaseh shalom, alenu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru, amen. May the memories of those near to us always be bright and present in our lives, and may we always remember them and know that they are a blessing to us. I invite us together to say, amen. Please be seated. Harlan and Aliana, we have some gifts we want to offer to you today, and so I'd like to invite the two of you up to our podium, as well as a member of our board of directors, Lisa Saltzman, to present these gifts to you.
Okay, you have to tell me what, so I don't cry. Okay, Harlan, Aliana. First of all, Mazel Tov, Aliana and Harlan. I am just so filled with joy to stand up here with both of you. And Harlan, I haven't seen you in so long. I'm so happy that you're here and that the two of you are sharing this moment together. And Mazel Tov to your families. On behalf of the Temple Israel Board of Directors, it is an honor and a privilege to celebrate your B'nai Mitzvah with you. You two have been amazing. And listening to your families, I'm still recuperating. You all know, like, I generally cry, so I'm trying to hold together. So as your moms mentioned, I've known you since you were toddlers. You were at the JCC preschool palling around with a little curly redhead, and you are all three always very full of energy, having fun, but most of all being really good friends to one another. I've had the pleasure of watching you grow and mature into the caring, fun, and loving young adults that you are today. In Judaism, friendship is not merely a casual bond between two people, but it's a sacred covenant. It's a cherished gift that you both have. And I'm not even your parent. I just get to cry with you. And sometimes the beauty of friendship and the bond of friendship can exceed even that you have with your relatives, your own siblings. There are many examples in Jewish texts on the importance placed on friendship. One teaching is that in order to successfully study and learn Torah, that you need to surround yourself with friends. And today we all witness the beauty of your friendship, supporting one another. I did see those leadership skills up there today, throughout the service, and reading beautifully together from the Torah. Jewish tradition also emphasizes the concept of havarim, or companion, walking alongside one another in the journey through life. May you continue to grow your bond together through your journey into adulthood, continue to grow your connection with Judaism together, and continue to be leaders in your Jewish community. On behalf of the Board of Directors of Temple Israel, I am honored to present you with these gifts in celebration of your B'nai Mitzvah and to commemorate your passage into adulthood. You have in your gifts candlesticks and Kiddush cups from the Sisterhood and Men's Club to take with you on your future adventures. From the Board of Directors, the book on the doorpost of your house that has prayers and teachings to provide tools to navigate your lives with Jewish values. And from the Union of Reformed Judaism, a very generous gift certificate for future travel to Israel. So again, may you keep in your heart and love always the family you have here at Temple Israel. And Mazel Tov again to both of you and your families.
Well, I'd like to invite your parents back up to help us in our closing song for this evening is O Javo Shalom Aleinu. And we have a tradition here at Temple Israel, and that is that as we sing this closing song, I invite us to place an arm maybe around the shoulders of the person next to you. If you are by yourself in a row, go ahead and find yourself to a row that you can be with, and let's sing together as we share this morning.
O Javo Shalom Aleinu, O Javo Shalom Aleinu, O Javo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. O Javo Shalom Aleinu, O Javo Shalom Aleinu, O Javo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, 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 aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. O Javo Shalom Aleinu, O Javo Shalom Aleinu, O Javo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. O Javo Shalom Aleinu, O Javo Shalom Aleinu, O Javo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam.
We'll continue our celebration just outside of our sanctuary with Kiddush and Motzi, wishing all of us Mazel Tov and Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Thank you.
Amazing. It's great. I'm so proud of you. And I love your tone.
No, we were just like looking for cool designs online, and we found this one.
Looks like someone painted it.
Yeah, it's a hand painted.
It's a Beverly Hills art studio. He found this one. I was like, oh my god. I mean, with
We're going to continue with finishing nursery. And Harlan, let me steal you away. Let's go at the other. You got lead the kids. Mazel tov, yeah. Well done.
It fits you like it's gorgeous.
Leah, you're blown away. Let's continue just
Oh yeah. Shalom, shalom.